Joyce Mills. Joyce Mills.
My business they destroyed my business by tearing down the shopping center. There was nothing I could do about that. It was really a bad time, really, really bad. Then Andy and Dolly told me it was my tether, and I realized for the first time none of what I'd experienced from the divorce on down had to happen. It was all them. It was all those disgusting frauds. I remember driving home that night in the rain, bawling my eyes out. I was getting closer and closer. I think that was probably because the nature of the rains, I would say that was the fall of 2006. I'm getting closer and closer and closer. November 29th, 2006, I lay down, I turned on the radio to listen to Coast as I was falling asleep, and his guest was someone I'd never heard of, Hans Christian King. Hans Christian King at some point was taking a phone call from someone, and his response to that phone call was, well, you know, sometimes we actually become in love with the bad feeling that goes along with someone hurting us. And I thought, geez, and I thought that resonated with me. Well, the next thing I know, I am on a road in Death Valley, and angels have taken me there. And it was all silent, and I didn't see anything except for the road, but I got conveyed a message that the road had been my life. It was just as straight as an arrow, and there were telephone poles on this side, and they just somehow conveyed to me that rather than just be over a couple feet more and avoiding them all, my life had been a series of hitting every single telephone pole along the way, my insistence on being in that trajectory. And that probably is what it is. That's how everyone has been going along with all these phony oil wars based on the guys that stole everything, did Prohibition, stole all the unions, did HUA, HUAC, House Un-American Activities, a totally Nazi thing, while they were pretending that we were at war with the commies, only to have Nixon and Reagan sell us out. Guess who to? The commies, who are just as strong as ever, only now they're all rich from the manufacturing that Ronald Reagan sent over to China, that my dad and my Uncle Don and the West Coast Commies stupidly went along with. So the fact that I woke up the next day and they had done it, they'd answered my question. I said, I want to wake up and not want to die. And I woke up and I felt great. And then my son and I, for Christmas, we went to Death Valley. We took a little trip to Death Valley. And then on the way back, we stopped at my parents' house and had Christmas with my parents. And that Christmas day, the day that I was supposed to be dying, on the grave of W.C. Fields in Hollywood's, I guess that's the Hollywood. It's the only one I know, actually. The only one I've been to, the Forest Lawn. Anyway, yeah, I think it's the Hollywood Forest Lawn. Anyway, it's wherever W.C. Fields is buried. And it's where Carl and Adeline are buried and everything. In fact, that picture, I've got a picture of the building that W.C. Fields in, is where Carl and Adeline are outside. But, yeah, it all came together. That day, Dad told me that Grandpa had designed the cottage that W.C. Fields died in. Very strange. Very strange. But I've got a bunch of those in my life. And I do believe that's the one that's got me to start this website, although it really was only started, this is the strangest thing, when a television show that I used to watch on a regular basis because it was my favorite game show, Cash Cab. I hadn't seen it maybe in a year, and I sit down that summer of 2007. Yeah, now it's 2007. Keep following this, even though I'm having camera problems. So we got all of that happening, and then I still haven't decided about the Teva Sandal thing. The discovery of fraud had happened when Dolly and Andy told me. So let's get that straight. Discovery of fraud was that fall before I had the experience with the angels. The experience with the angels was November 29, 2006. Look up the Coast to Coast radio show. It's the night that Hans Christian King was a guest. Then 2007, I started writing music again, and I said, well, I'm gonna write music about this Teva Sandal fraud. How am I gonna talk about that without making those people angry at me and so forth? But right then, it wasn't the fact that I was gonna sue them or anything like that. I was just not sure what I was gonna do. And then there was the TV show, Cash Cab. It had always been my favorite of the game shows, and I hadn't seen it maybe in a year, and I sat down and I turned on my TV, and Cash Cab was on. And it was in the middle of a ride, and the very first question was about the patent on the Teva sandal. And that's when I thought about it for a day, and I contacted Barbara Gooderall the next day, Pam's secretary, my friend Barbara, and I said, tell Pam to expect to hear from me. I sure did. That's when it began. Now, so the demand letter was that Christmas. So we're doing Christmas again, because Christmas is when it should be done because of W.C. Fields and everything else. And now it's PPK, and now it's me about to go homeless, and I won't stand for it anymore. So Tracy, you and John owe me $10 million. Joyce, they do. Forensically, I can prove it. But it wasn't until, and that really made me mad, Joyce, they talked about the patent on the Teva sandal. So it makes me laugh that nobody calls it the right name. That's a hoot. But a patent. Carl Lotker told me one time, we never get patents. They're just expensive and they don't do you any good. And it somehow that just pissed me off. That's when this website began. After I sent my demand letters out, and then the first thing that Pam Lofter did is call the cops on me. But she did tell the truth, actually. I know that she would have settled with me, and the men talked her and Tracy out of it. I just know that psychically, but I also know my son was living in their house and overheard them. Her discovery of fraud, Tracy Dordan's discovery of fraud, was after my demand letter. We didn't know Joyce E. Dudley. She chose to be a felon along with J.D. and everyone else in the Otto Lobkers, and then they found Angel Martinez. I know that there was a drug dealer that Doug Otto bought his cocaine from. The guy had a big limo, a big black limo that he would park in front of Decker's, and Doug and David and Carl and Pam would buy their coke from him. His name was Angel, so I assume that's who ended up buying Decker's Outdoor. They're all crooks and criminals. I reached toward a yellow M&M, I didn't take it. Now I ran warehouses, all full of food and things that I could have used every time I've never been a wealthy man, ever. Never took anything, not anything. Why not? Because I always wanted to be good to this guy, and this guy didn't want me to. This guy, whatever this guy is, it's Grandpa Hubbard, it's Grandpa Crimmy. It's Grandma and Grandpa Crimmy and Hubbard. It's the decent one I know. It's Uncle John. It's Uncle John and it's Uncle Jim. I did this to do the right thing, Joyce, but I need the money. I'm so mad about not having wealth. And I'll just do good with my wealth. I really will help a lot of people. But I want to get those ideas out, Joyce. I want to get Square Mile Farms. What a great, wonderful idea that is. And of course, I want to prove the Teba and everything. So that's why we're doing this, folks. But it started with the angels taking me out of bed. Gonna prove that with a lie detector test. Now, I want to warn everyone, I don't want to take more than the first set of lie detector tests. I showed you a whole bunch of questions that I can easily pass. I hate taking lie detector tests. Oh, that's what I should make a video just on that. Why, Gene? Tell Joyce why lie detector tests. It has to do with why I quit Jackmar. Because they asked me to they made me take a lie detector test. Me, who reached toward an M&M. Now, I'd already taken one, okay, that's fine. But after I'd been with them for 3 years, you don't ask Gene Crimmy to take another lie detector test. So, I blew the best chance I ever had in my life, as it turned out. Unless the rock opera sells, Joyce. I did blow Jackmar Sales Company the best chance of my life. And then I gave everything to those kinds. It's not right to give away the store to people like the Ottos and the Lockers, Evan Bishop and the like. It's not right, and the Dordens. It isn't right. It's just not right. It's right for a bunch of people to come to my aid now. And there's 30 people from the old days, from Deckers and QAD. I'm going to start naming them by names. I'm going to start naming everybody. Somebody has got to come to my rescue. Nobody came to my rescue when I was a kid, and it's the worst feeling in the world. And then I'm going to come to the Palestinians' rescue and the people of Yemen. And I'm going to demand the people of Aurora University do the same, and my family, or I'm going to divorce them. And Joyce, we're going to be best friends, I hope. And I want to do a walk and talk with you. I want to get my friend out of homelessness. Now.